Hey everybody, it's Missy bringing you another layout for the cut shop. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm using two different cut files for today's layout, and the first one is from the Bits and Baubles cut file. And I forgot to edit those pictures of the cut files in at the beginning of this video, but I do have them at the end. Now, this is a Christmas cut file set, but I'm using it on a non-Christmas layout, and I'm using only one image from that cut file set, and it's this cute little candy cane heart. I wanted to challenge myself to use some of the holiday items in a non-traditional way, and so I pulled out some of my stash. This is the Daydreamer collection from American Crafts, and I just cut a bunch of these different little hearts on a bunch of different pattern papers, and I went ahead and did this off camera so I could go ahead and get started. I'm going to use that cute picture of my daughter. She's in the bathtub, and it's from a couple years ago, and I just love the look on her face. I think it's adorable. And so that's the picture that I'm going to be working with today. And so I've got all these different little hearts here, and even though they're candy canes, I think you could use these for anything. I just think they're really cute. And I'm using the background paper. That's also from the Daydreamer collection, and it just reminded me of water. You know, it's got the little raindrops there, and I have no pictures of anything having to do with rain that I can think of, and so I thought this would be perfect for a bathtub picture. And so I'm just going to arrange the hearts kind of interlocking with each other and overlapping and kind of going horizontally across the page, but I do want to do some mixed media work first, and so I'm going to come in with my gesso and cover up some of this background, mainly in the middle section. And I'm using the white gesso, and I'm just going to use a credit card here and my finger to kind of smudge it around. And I want to blend out some of the pattern so it's not, so it's a little faded, and it's going to make my mixed media work a little bit better, because this is a cheap, well, I don't want to say cheap, that's not the right word I was looking for, a very thin piece of pattern paper that came from a stack. You know, sometimes when you buy the stacks at Michael's, the paper is a lot thinner than it is when you buy the actual pattern paper, you know, from online, and it's got the branding strip at the bottom. Well, this came from a pad, and so it's a lot thinner. I don't know why I said cheap. That's not what I was thinking of. Anyway, so I'm using some Shimmers products here, and I am just using the packaging technique, and I'm splattering it around, and I'm going to use pinks, yellows, and teals, and I'm just trying to pick up some of the color that is in the pattern papers that I used. And the gesso really helped thicken up the paper, and it made all of this, the ink that I'm using, you know, it didn't seep right through the paper. It made it a lot more sturdy, and worked out really well here. So I used some of the Shimmers spritz there, and then this is yellow, well, it's called Butter, Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and it's just sitting right there on my desk, and so I kind of just went for things that were sitting right in front of me at the moment. And I'm going to use my trusty Subway napkins here to do some dabbing. And I just want this color to be kind of subtle, so when I put all those hearts back down, you can see through the hearts, but it's not too overpowering. This is another Shimmers. I believe this is one of the colorings, I think. And it's a really pretty teal color. I think it's called See You in the Morning. There are a couple that remind me of each other that are very similar in color. And I think that's See You in the Morning. And I'm liking how this is looking. It's kind of pastel, but a lot of these colors in this collection are kind of pastel. But I mixed and matched some of the darker blue and some of the bright yellow in with these light teal colors. And I love how this is looking. It took me a while to figure out which cut file I wanted to use this time, and when I saw those little candy cane hearts, I thought, oh, this would be fun to cut a bunch of them out and just layer them on the page. And I'm going to overlap that one right on top of the picture because there's some open space on the photo there. So I didn't want to move anything as I like the way that looked, and so I'm just going to take my little fine liner bottle here and start dabbing some glue underneath it all to attach it so it doesn't move. And I will do some stitching later on. Now I decided I want to add a little bit more of the ink because the pink, there wasn't enough pink underneath the picture, so I just added a little bit more there. That's one thing I like about the mixed media is you can add as you go, and you know, if you need more in one area, you can just add it in there. So these are some of the scraps that I peeled off my cutting mat for when I cut these hearts. And I'm just going to use a couple of those pieces to layer behind my picture. And I actually don't use any vellum or any tissue paper on this layout. I do kind of make a mistake here. I trim off the excess and realize that I hadn't attached the other part of the heart. And so I have to go back and redo that. So I pulled out some washi tape from my stash, and this is just some of my favorite striped tape. It's gray and white. And since I had some gray in the pattern papers, I decided to use the gray. And I love how this is turning out. I love all the layers, and I love the overlapping hearts. And I love the fact that this was designed for, you know, Christmas designs, but I think just by looking at this, you can't even really tell that they're candy canes. However, if you were to cut them in red, they would definitely look like candy canes. So I think that's the beauty of cut files, is just depends on what paper that you use and what color you use. You can really make them your own and create whatever you want with them. It's just how you use it. Alright, so before I stick the picture down, I'm going to add in some thread, and that's just some yellow thread that I have in my stash. And of course I have to fight with it a little bit because it's I'm kind of dealing with all those layers there, and it's kind of tricky to get it to look exactly like I wanted it to. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down because I know that's where it's going to go. And I do use a flare button from A Flare for Buttons, and I wanted to use a gray one, and so I chose 2 gray ones. And I'm just going to create a little thread nest here with some pink thread. And I wind up not using that one that says This Time. I do wind up using this one, and it's white and gray hearts in bokeh. It's kind of like the out of focus hearts. I just thought it was cute. All right, here's my second cut file. This is from an old cut file that Ashley created a long time ago, and it's from the Say Anything cut file. And I love this font. I love how this word love looks. And I just cut it in some white cardstock, and then I'm using some tinsel color shine. It's a metallic gray or silver. And I just give it a couple of coats, and then I'm going to dry it. I wanted to echo the gray tones in this layout, and so I went with this tinsel color. So it's metallic and shiny, and I'm going to use that as part of, I guess you could say, my title. I didn't really have a title for this layout. It winds up being love, I think. Now I'm also using some bits and pieces from the new Carpe Diem collection from Simple Stories. It's planner. It's for a planner, bits and pieces, and I don't do the planner thing, but I just had to have these little bits and pieces, and I think they're perfect for a layout. I love the colors, and I love that there's circles and there's all kinds of cute things. And that little duck was perfect for a bath layout, like a little rubber ducky in the bathtub. thought it was cute. And so I'm going to back that little heart in the cut file with yellow pattern paper, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And I love how this is looking. I love using cut files for my title and mixing and matching with either, thickers or a die cut just like this. Yeah, so Love Today, that's going to be my title. I did some stitching off camera. I did some gray, and then at the top I did some pink. And then I'm going to come in with a little more splattering with a couple of different colors. And I added the circle that says Today at the bottom is a color that I hadn't really used throughout the whole layout. It's more of a peachy color, but I don't know. It just sort of matches. I like how it looks. I don't know. My style's kind of changed. I used to have to have everything match perfectly, and I guess I'm still kind of like that, but I've gotten a little more loose with things having to match just perfectly, so it really doesn't bother me. And I do wind up adding some ink that's more of that color. So I add my journaling down at the bottom, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit of stamping, and these are from Ellie's Studio, I believe. Maybe from the Thankful collection. I can't really remember at this moment. I bought those from the My Scraps store since Audrey is having her big sale, and I can't remember what collection that they're from. I'm going to add my date stamp, and it's almost finished. Yeah, this is more of the tinsel, and it's just to echo, the gray that is going throughout the layout. And I did add some splatters, but you can't really see it because it's really subtle, of that peachy pink color. But that's the final page. I really love how it turned out. I think the colors are really pretty, and I had fun working with this cut file. Definitely check out the Cut Shop. There's all kinds of designs in there, and you can really do anything that you want with them. You just have to think outside the box and get creative. So here are all the close-ups, and the two cut files that I used are coming up at the end also. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.